I thought it was good today. We had a lot of things to clean up today, so I didn't love the results, but I love the energy and focus and the enthusiasm. You know, it's a rivalry game. Our guys are passionate about this game, and I thought they practiced hard, not always smart, but we got after it today, had a good physical practice. It'll be a physical game, so we need to be ready for it. Expect it to be hot and practice in the heat.
Yeah, Coach, this is an Auburn team that's forced 8 turnovers through 4 games. What are they doing on the defensive side of the ball to turn teams over pretty successfully?
Yeah, they get a lot of havoc. I mean, there's a couple clips against A&M. You know, they're punching balls out. You can tell they're coaching it. They're violent, stripping at balls, going after it, and you know, that's the going rate in the country. You got to protect the ball at a higher rate now than ever I can remember. I mean, the art of getting turnovers and forcing them is so harped and coached upon on defense that, I mean, it's almost double that on offense now, protecting it. So the two are like meeting in the middle. They're protecting it more. We're coming after it more, and it just keeps raising the standard of people getting after it. They've done a good job of that. They've also got some interceptions that's helped with that.
Kirby, what are the chances you think Lab might be able to play Saturday?
Don't know. He did some things today. He got to practice. He didn't do much Monday. He ran routes and caught balls, and then today he got in plays and ran routes. And I saw him some, but I didn't get to see enough to really judge it. I'm going to go watch the tape of the periods I wasn't over there with him and see what he looks like. We're just trying to progress him back slowly, whether it's this week in a roll or whether it's you know, the future. Not trying to rush him back.
Hey, Coach, I just wanted to hear your initial thoughts on Peyton Barber and the style of offense we're playing on Saturday.
Yeah, extremely athletic. I think, you know, everybody gets, I mean, Robbie actually is an elite athlete. He is so fast, so quick. But, you know, the thing is, Peyton Thorne's a good athlete too. And he can take off and run at any time. He can do all the same runs. I mean, he's made some pretty impressive cuts and touchdown runs. So they both are really good athletes.
Kirby, what have you seen from Roderick and Kendall this week, just getting ready for Saturday?
Yeah, Roderick hadn't gone much. He's been in the training room dealing with the high ankle. But Kendall was able to go some today and did some stuff. Again, I saw him out there. I didn't get to see how much he did or how he looked doing it. I'll evaluate that on tape. But he was able to take reps and go and cut and do some things.
Kirby, I was looking at Coach Freeze's transcript, and he was asked about the rivalry, and he said that he didn't sense the hate in the Georgia-Auburn rivalry like maybe some others. You've obviously been a part of rivalries against Auburn as an Alabama assistant in Georgia. Could you put into perspective the differences that you sense?
The differences in what?
The rivalries?
The rivalries between
Georgia and Auburn and Alabama and Auburn?
Yeah, they're both rivalries. I mean, you know, Georgia-Auburn is a border war rivalry. Auburn's obviously an in-state rivalry. That's on another whole level of difference from being over there because they live with it 365 days. You know, we share that with several other out-of-state rivalries. There's no diminishing of a rivalry. I tend to agree with Coach Freeze. You know, it's not about hate for me. I don't look at it as I hate any of their players. I recruited a lot of them. I don't look at it as I hate any of their coaches because I like a lot of their coaches. I've known all those guys for a long time. I have a lot of respect for Hugh. I look at it as a hell of a fierce rivalry, and that's really why you do this business. Like why you get in this business is to play in these type games in this type atmosphere. You know, fan bases may not like to hear that because they like to hate each other. That's not a lot of difference in our fans and their fans a lot of times. I mean, in terms of where they're from, that kind of thing, our players are similar to their players. So I have respect for them, not hate.
Coach, is this an offense that's still being added to and developed, or are you guys fully installed at this point?
I don't know how to answer that, Bruce. I mean, you're never fully installed, ever. Like, if you say you're fully installed, you're saying that you can't get better, you can't do anything else. So you're constantly looking for a better way or a new play or something to do. But we do have what we have, and you know every offense carries over plays, and they might present it a different way or change it up. But there's coaches all over America watching games on Sunday to see a new wrinkle. You know, not necessarily a trick play, just a different way to do the same thing.
Kirby, analytics question. You mentioned explosive play margin the other night. First off, is your all's definition 12 run, 16 pass? And secondly, how important is the defensive end of that to your all's success the last few years?
Well, I'm embarrassed to say I don't actually know the number. I think it was 15 to 20, 15 run, 20 pass, but we changed it over the last couple of years because we had what we call a big play that was 12 and 15, and then we had explosive play that was 15 and 20. And people tend to slant those whichever one's more favorable to them. Meaning if you have a bunch of that fit in the medium in the area, kind of in between those two borders, then you say, hey, we had the most big plays. Or you say, hey, we had the most explosive plays. So coaches all across the country kind of tilt that. And when we do a stat, one of our quality control guys does it, it's, I want to say it's 15 and 20, but I can't verify that. But it's differential more than anything. So we're not even leading the SEC in differential. The way we do ours, Kentucky actually is. We've given up slightly fewer than them, but they've gotten slightly more than us. So the differential is just like 1 or 2 ahead. And last year we were second almost the whole year to Ole Miss because of all the explosives they've had. So Ole Miss is actually the one that sent the chart to us, and I kind of fell in love with it because it showed a greater indicator of who won and lost than turnover margin. But I can't answer your question on the exact number of yards.
Yeah, just curious about the status of Javon and Michael so far through practice this week.
Yeah, Michael did some exercise today and felt better. Hoping he'll be able to go. Don't know that yet. Probably know more tomorrow. Javon was able to do more today. He felt the best he had. He did walkthroughs. He ran on the side. He did some scout period stuff. Didn't get good on good stuff. But again, those guys are going to be probably really close, right there with Ladd and Kendall. So it could be into the weekend before we know.
Kirby, I know you got this down to a science in terms of the game days and whatnot. Are the game days in terms of the time elements for meetings the same on the road as they would be for the home game when the team meets, all that for 330K?
They would be, with the exception of traveling to the game site. So obviously here, we travel to the game site and we're 15 minutes away or whatever, like really close. In these towns we play in, sometimes you don't stay in the town. So if the travel from where you stay to where you're going dictates you have to move things up because, we stay in Montgomery, so we can't click our heels together up here in Auburn. It takes an hour. So then sometimes we have to move our time markers, I call them, up some.
Is it kind of just 45 minutes up across the board kind of deal, or not necessarily?
Well, their traffic it's been tough getting from there to the game because of game day traffic. We get escorted through it, but sometimes we found it takes a little longer than normal, so we have to move things based on our history of what that travel took 2 years ago.
Yeah, Kirby, you said the other night that Warren Brinson's work ethic has gotten a lot better since he's been here. Just how much really has he grown, especially over the past year or two, to really kind of carve out a role for himself on that defensive line?
He's worked hard. He's had more opportunities. He's trained behind some really good football players that are gone, and he's developed. He's gotten tougher. He's gotten more physical. He's gotten stronger. He's more disciplined. So he's improved. And when he plays within the scheme of things, he's pretty athletic and twitchy. But he has to do that first and play hard and play more snaps. I mean, he's got to play more snaps than he's ever played, so that's important.
Kirby, we'll have a chance to talk to Dan in a little bit. What do you think of the job he has done these last couple of games, stepping in, getting in some more reps with Javon?
Oh, he's done good. Dan, when he's been healthy, he's played really well. He played a dime role, I guess, maybe 2 years ago, and then last year, he dealt with the injury most of the year, and that was really frustrating for him, setting back. He's just now, to me, getting back to his old play speed. He can run. But Dan has good speed. He has good eyes. He understands our defense and recognizes things. So I was really proud of him the other night. I thought he played well. Javon can't go. We'll need him to play well again.
Kirby, what was your impressions of Michael Morris the other day? What did he give you guys?
He did a good job. He came in there and gave those guys a rotational blow, and I think that's important when it's hot and you're playing early fall. He jumped in there and competed and played, and he's really physical. He has a different presence than the other guards at times. He has some strengths they don't have, and he has some weaknesses that they don't have. And we have to measure those within each game and see what we need.
Yeah, how have you seen Marvin Jones progress throughout this season? I know he missed the South Carolina game, but he was back out there this past Saturday against UAB.
Yeah, he has gotten better. I thought he had a good week of practice this week so far. He was crushed when he didn't get to play that game, and he's recovered from all that. And I think he's getting better, and he understands our defense in terms of knowledge and system. And there's a lot of those guys in that room are young and new. He's been able to grasp that and have a feel for things. So I'm hoping he comes along and starts making some plays.
Kind of along the lines of explosives, Carson, I think, had 3 or 4 deep balls open, and I think there was a drop there and a couple that he wasn't unable to hit. I believe he connected on another one. What's the expectation there? I know, an NFL quarterback to an open receiver, he's expected to hit that guy every time. What's reasonable to expect in that, and how do you think Carson is at it? Because obviously you guys have some dudes who can get behind the defense.
Yeah, I think he's done a good job. I mean, we had the one drop. I hated it for Aaron. He works really hard on it. He spends extra time after practice. He's probably out there now doing it because he had an opportunity to grab it. He probably overthrew Jackson a little bit, but Jackson will tell you he didn't extend the play probably like the other guys did. It's different timing with different receivers, and probably put too much air under instead of hitting him right on the stride. But I think he's done really well with the deep balls. I mean, I really do. I don't listen to the noise out there. I think we've missed a couple because they've been covered. He's overthrown a couple, but a lot of that is the aim and are we leading the receiver to the open grass, or are we throwing it to a landmark? And there's difference in the two. And sometimes it's quarterback, sometimes it's the receiver. But we'll continue, if we can run the ball well, to have opportunities to take shots down the field.
Let's take 2 more questions.
What's your impressions of Eugene Asante, and is he a guy that you have to game plan for, or just one of several guys like that?
No, he's an athletic dude, man. He's the kind of linebacker everybody's playing well now, and a lot of these teams in the NFL are playing with. He's quick, he's fast, he's twitchy, he can blitz, he can play in space, he closes so fast, he covers down. A lot of his plays have been cover down, strip outs, cover down effort plays, I call them. And we showed our guys him, and then we showed the scout linebackers how hard this guy plays. And Coach Searles was with him there at North Carolina, and he's played really well this year. So he's a force.
Last one, anybody?
Thanks, guys.